Hello and welcome. My name's KathyA and I went on a KOKIE spree. Now KOKIE is a brand of makeup that I think it started in 2015 down in Maryland, Beltsville, Maryland. And the team down there, I guess they've been, between them all, they've had about 20 years of experience in the beauty industry. So this is a makeup line that is made in America and sounds like a good group of people. KOKIE actually is a word it's a Korean word that means elephant, and they think that the elephant represents loyalty and wisdom, and anyway, I thought I would just show you. It is an inexpensive line. It's considered a drugstore line. Although I found these things cost a little bit more than they do in different areas, it seems to be priced differently. Most of these items were priced in the $10 range, so it wasn't as cheap as I thought it was going to be. And I wanted to try a huge variety of things, and so what I'm going to do is show you through a complete demo every single thing that I tried, and I pretty much had everything in the line, something represented from everything in the line, including the nail polish, which I really liked actually. It's really nice. And the Walmart that I went to was in kind of a rough neighborhood, and of course, you know, when you go into, even just going into a nice neighborhood, a Walmart, usually in the makeup section, it's, you know, people have stuck their fingers in it and in their nose, you know, I mean, it's just, everything's opened, you know, and smeared, and there's fingerprints and stuff, and I tried to find things from the back, you know, or near to the back when I buy things from there. But if there's only one thing left, I would caution you not to purchase it, because it's probably been, you know, swallowed and spit back out again. I mean, it's absolutely awful in Walmart. Anyway, I have such a nice variety of products, and what I'm going to do is show you the complete demo, do a quick little talk over while I'm putting the makeup on, and when we come back, I'll do a little recap of what I think of each product.
Alrighty, well, here I am as the before person, having my morning coffee. Okay, first up is KOKIE Smooth Glow Face Primer. They actually had a matte one that was a pore filler, and then they had this glow hydrating one. I chose the hydrating one. It's not bad, very creamy, went on nicely. Slightly tacky feel. I'm going to let it dry a little bit. This is the Be Bright Illuminating Concealer, and I got the fair shade. Sunshine Day. I always do those little sunbeams for my concealer, and then I use my finger to mesh it in. Looking in the tin by, not bad. It did not go into the crease. Now for foundation, I had to use two different ones. This is 1 part of 60 warm to 3 parts of 10 warm, because they didn't have the 20 warm I was looking for. And I'm just putting it on 1/2 of my face with a Q-tip, and then I'll sponge it on. And it seems to be a good color. I mixed it all up. Now I'm sponging it in, and it's going on. It's a little tacky. It's a little tough to blend, but I'm thinking it's the primer underneath. Now on the other side, I'm going to use the Liquid Cushion foundation in what I think is my color, which is 2W. They didn't have a whole lot of assortment for fish belly white girls. And this went on a little patchy with their applicator. I'm wondering if it would have gone on better with the sponge, but I wasn't impressed with that product. Just using some of my RCMA no color powder to set everything, because they're a little bit shiny. Boy, there was a little bit of powder fallout there. I'm just using it because I have a long day ahead of me. I like RCMA powder a lot. It works really well. Now this is a blush up palette, and this is the Rose Glow. They had, I think, 4 different color assortments, and I'm using their contour brush, which I really liked actually. It's very soft and dense. And I'm using the darker blush first, and then I'm changing out, and I've decided to go to the eyeshadow palette for the light brown in it, to use that for a contour, because they didn't seem to have any nice contour shades on their own going around the edge. Now I'm going with that blush color, the medium one, and I do like that. Very pigmented, and it blended fairly easily. I was really impressed. Now the light shade was very matte for a highlighter shade, so I didn't really know quite what to do with it. So I'm using this highlighter, and it fell right out of the cap. It's only a 1-inch bullet there of highlighter product, but it actually is very potent. It's a very shiny highlighter. Blended in a little goes a long way. This is the brow pomade in blonde, and I used my own brow brush with this. I found it to be a little bit stiff and hard. It was almost like it was dried out, but I think it was just the nature of the beast there. I had to work with it a little bit. I didn't do anything outrageous with my eyebrows, so it covered really well. The color was nice and natural looking, but again, it was a little bit dry and a little bit hard. And I'm working it out with a spoolie. Okay, next I'm using a little bit of Essence Eye Primer just before I use these shadows. I didn't get their eye primer, sorry. And this is the palette in Bare It All. They had a few different palettes, but a lot of them were torn up and finger swatches in them, so I chose this one, which is the neutrals. Had the most of this. That light was very pigmented. I was really impressed with that. Now I'm using that middle shade, using my unicorn brush, and took a little bit of doing, maybe 3 or 4 coats in order to get it to, you know, where I liked it. It's very, very subtly pigmented, but it was very controllable as a palette, and I did like that part of it. So if you're a beginner, this is nice because you don't tend to overdo it with the coloring on it, and it did blend out nicely. Now I'm going into the darker shade for the corners, trying to match them up, and then I'm using a little flat brush to try to line with the powder underneath, and I'm going back in with that medium shade to try to bring a little bit more depth to there, and going into the bright color gold for the lid. Now this is the KOKIE eyeliner in forest green, and I really liked the eyeliner, and it was very, very good as far as holding out throughout the day. It really was a trooper. And I'm just kind of smudging it out a little bit with a Q-tip and checking under my eyes. Going into mascara, I'm going to curl my lashes, and this is speeded up. I did spend about 8 seconds on each side. This is the waterproof mascara, the Stay Dry waterproof mascara, and had a very controllable brush, somewhat of a dry formula. It wasn't too wet, so it wasn't sloppy, and I really liked that about it. And we'll see, you know, the lash it gave me wasn't bad at all. With 1 coat you got a nice good natural lash. With 2 coats you got a really good big honkin' lash, so I'm impressed with this. It was later on though very difficult to remove, even with my I tried micellar water, and then I had to use my coconut oil to get it off. So not bad, not bad. And I'm just taking a Q-tip and cleaning up underneath with my 10 by mirror, because you can find all kinds of surprises when you use your 10 by mirror. Going into lips, this is the retractable lip liner, and I chose the color Dusty Rose. They did have a nice color assortment here. And I am tracing my lips off camera. I hate the smell of this. It's like Crayola crayons. Absolutely too strong of that kind of a smell. Or Play-Doh, I guess, would be another way to describe it. This is the lip palette. There's 4 colors, and I chose the pinks. I probably shouldn't have. They had like 3 or 4 other assortments. They had a nude assortment and a darker assortment, reds and things. I chose the pinks, but they were just a little too neon for me. But they went on creamy. The formulation was nice. I just didn't care for the color in them. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm actually going to try a different lip product. But I'm going to swatch them for you on my arm so you can see all the colors in the pinks kissable lips. So you can see they're very bright. Here is the Kissable Liquid Lipstick in Less is More, which is almost a nude, putting it right over the top of the other one to tone it down. And this had really good staying power, and it actually did break down really well. Oh, this is the setting spray called Refresh. This is the hydrating one, and there was a matte setting spray as well. I do like the way this looked, and it did help keep my makeup on. And here's the nail polish. I really like this. It was called Sparkler Send Off, that color.
Anyway, so I'm going to go on my little event, and when I come back, I'll tell you how everything fared and what my final thoughts of KOKIE are. Here we go, let me try this. Oh, wait a minute, let's do it again. Okay, I'm going to... We have to say it again. Hello. Hello. What have you got, a wrap?
Yeah,
okay,
I have a spinach wrap.
This looks far too healthy for me.
Oh,
okay,
well,
here
no
we go.
What are these? Oh my gosh. They got to bring Dylan here. Molly's got her grandchildren with her too. Oh, and he can tell you every type of dinosaur there ever was.
That's so cool he does that. That was my favorite one.
You're a dinosaur.
Who's this dinosaur? Me. Reminds me of that little thing in that. Remember Trilogy of Terror with Karen Black? She had that little thing that chased her around. It was I forget what show it was.
Oh
my God!
$3,449 and they go back to. And these are from Connecticut. This thing. Wow.
Oh,
The tribolites. Crustaceans.
Oh my gosh. They're my favorite. That's so cool.
Isn't that neat?
Oh my God. So the The primer was, this is the Glow Primer. They also had, I believe, a matte primer, and it seemed nice when it went on. It seemed very tacky, and for some reason the foundation didn't go over well over their own primer. So I'm not sure how I'm going to have to try this with other foundations and see how it works. I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. I had the two makeups because I couldn't find the color, which I think is 20W, which is my color. And I did find the 20W in the Cushion Compact, but I'm telling you, I didn't like this at all. It didn't seem like there was very much product in here. And it's got 0.42 ounces. And I think that there's very little product in here, you know, for 10 bucks or 12 bucks or whatever it was. I don't think this was a very good deal. And I didn't like the feel of it. But on, it looked fine on, and it almost looked just like the foundation. I'm not sure if it's the same stuff in here or not. They seemed awfully similar, but I did like the foundation. It seemed to blend nicely. But again, over the top of that primer, I should have put primer just on one half of my face. I should have, you know, tried, and I'll try it again later on with that. The concealer I liked very much. With dry skin and under eye wrinkles, I thought it worked really well. This competes with Tarte Shape Tape. I mean, I'm really impressed with this. I'll have to try it and see, longevity-wise, how well it performs. As far as other face products, the blush was nice. I found that this top one did not act really much like a highlighter. It was just like almost just like a setting powder, and I actually should have just used it as a setting powder because it didn't have any kind of highlight effect or brightening effect. So this was kind of a wash, but I loved this one. This was really nice, and this was a nice deeper color. I was going to do that layering thing that we used to do with blushes back in the 80s, you know, when you do the darker blush on the bottom and then the lighter blush on the top. But I wound up using an eye color instead to make a nice contour. So these two colors were okay, and this is and this one was Rose Glow. They had like a pink version, kind of a brown version, and then this one was like a medium version. And then they had one that made no sense at all, that looked like 3 different versions of highlighters without any shine to them. So I didn't understand the blush system, and there were no single blushes. I was disappointed in that. The eyeshadow palette was not bad. I was remarkably, this light shade here in the middle was remarkably pigmented and went on quite well. And we're going to test that out to see how well it works. But I liked the eyeshadow palette so far. I really liked the highlighting stick, and I think it's just unfortunate. It's only about an inch of product, and I think this was around $10. But it worked really nicely, and we'll see how well it lasts, but I liked it a lot. But it was very awkward because when I pulled the top off, this came out of its little cocoon. It's only about an inch of product there. I think that was a little bit, I felt duped a little bit with this. But I thought it was very pretty, and this was the color Radiant. And it was, I think, the lightest color that they had. The brow gel is very hard to get into. It's almost like it's dried, and I wasn't that impressed with it. I mean, I could work with it with a brow pen, but it was very hard, and I like something that's just slightly creamier. So the brow pomade brow gel was kind of a miss for me. The eyeliner is extremely creamy and very pigmented, and it was very good as far as lasting goes. I had put some on when I first tested this. This is the second time I've used it, but the first time I tested it, I had it on, and I had a couple glasses of wine, and I wound up sleeping in my makeup. I woke up and all my eye makeup was still there, especially this. The eyeliner worked really well. I think I would try other colors in this. This green I thought would be a pretty dark forest green. It's actually more of a turquoisey teal kind of green. It comes off as being more turquoisey, and I wasn't really into that shade so much. Both of the brushes were interesting. The one that was just the eye brush, I have it in my cleaning bucket right now. It shed like crazy. I washed it once and there were all kinds of little hairs sticking up in it, so that was a total fail. I liked the way it packed on shadow, but I'm returning that one because it shed so badly. It just the hairs are not in the so the hairs in the eyeshadow brush are just not strongly secured to the handle, and I think that's kind of it's unfortunate because these brushes were like $7, $8 I think each. I did like the larger one, the contour brush. I thought it was soft, it was dense, you could blend with it pretty well. So I did like that one, and they did have quite an assortment of brushes. So I just wanted a face brush and an eye brush just to kind of get my feet wet with it. The mascara I was surprisingly pleased with, for they had a blank spot where regular mascara was, and then they had like 20 of these. So I had to get the waterproof, which I'm not a waterproof mascara fan. There's two reasons for that. One is they usually don't give you really big honking lashes because the formulation has to be, you know, for stiffening and hardening and, you know, keeping you from, you know, smearing. And I was really impressed with the size of the lash that it gave me. It was separated. It was kind of a dryish formula. It wasn't real wet. Very controllable, and when I smeared a little bit off, I could get it off with a Q-tip while it was still wet. I did have difficulty trying to get it off when it had dried. I used coconut oil on a cotton ball to take off things like this. It does take an effort, and I think with waterproof mascara, that's usually the trade-off. It's really nice. It lasts through a big event outside, and like today I'm going to test it out with the Dinosaur Park. But at the end of the night, you don't want to do that every single day and, you know, do such wear and tear on your eyes. And so a lot of people don't like waterproof mascara for that reason. But if you really want to have your mascara hold up and not smear and, you know, look as nice as it did when you put it on at the end of the day, it's worth it for that. But I wouldn't wear this every single day. I am going to wear it today. And so this gets a thumbs up so far because I'm really liking the lash it gives, and hopefully it will last through my busy, busy day. The lip pencil had such a strong scent of wax, like Crayola crayons kind of smell to it, and it went on very creamy. I liked it. It did stay on. That was also still on in the morning when I woke up after sleeping in my makeup. It was really a nice lip liner if you can get past that Crayola smell, but I really didn't like that Crayola smell, that waxy kind of smell. But it was a good product outside of that. Now the lipstick palette, I don't know, it was slightly deceiving. This was the pinks, I think. This is the pinks lip palette. And they had one that was kind of nudes, and then they had one that was more darker shades. And I liked, I wanted to get the nudes, and then I thought, you know, I'm always getting nudes. Why don't I get pinks for once and try it out? And at night, these take on a slightly different hue, and I had put this one on at night, and it's awfully pretty in the evening, but it seemed a little dark for daytime use. So in trying these two, they were too neon pink, baby pink color, like Barbie pink, and I'm not into that Barbie pink thing. I can't. Dry lips, and it accentuated that. And I liked the little brush that came with it, though. So I'm not sure. You know, this is a personal taste thing. You know, some of you who like those brighter shades may like that. This is the liquid lipstick, and the color I got This is the liquid lipstick, and the color I got is Less is More. It's called Less is More. And it's more of a natural, I've got it on right now, it's more of a natural peachy kind of color, but it is matte, and it very dry. But over the top of it, I put some of my Lorac Pirates of the Caribbean lip gloss over the top, and it really like made it better. It feels a little dry on the lips, and you have to hold your smile while you're waiting for it to set. But once it's set, I was drinking coffee and everything, and it didn't move. It didn't move. So, my final verdict on this, again, I'm going to try this out throughout the day and see how it wears down, because sometimes when something wears down, it wears down like nicely and maybe slightly stains your lips. I want to see how that goes. And this is the Refresh Hydrating Setting Spray. And so far this was really good. I'm going to see how effective it was. It did instantly make my skin look much more hydrated, and you would never know that I had really dry, pale, dull skin after using this. I thought this was really nice. And again, I want to see how well it works. The nail polish, these kind of nail polishes that have the shimmer and sparkle and chunk glitter in them, I think they're more sort of an overcoat kind of thing. They're not a product you would stand alone and use them just on their own. And I put them over a light blue nail polish that I had on already. And, you know, they'll take on a different look, obviously, with different colors underneath. But I do like them, and they dried quickly. And that's really big with me, because as soon as I paint my nails, I start, I got to, you know, open up the sweetener packets for my coffee and start my K-cups and everything. And, you know, I start screwing up my nails almost instantly. It's like I don't know.
Except mine does.
All right, now for mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, where are you, Kathy?
Hi, Kat.
Hello, Kathy. Hello,
Yep, that's good. Okay, I'm almost out there. Okay, here we go. This is better. 1, 2, 3.